Hi everybody. Welcome to my Facebook Live tonight. Now, I might look a little bit different from the way that I usually look when I'm doing these. And that is because I wanted to talk to you today about the value, the importance of inner child dates or inner child play dates, to be even more specific. So I thought, well, I can't be taking a really serious look and when I'm wanting us to engage with and play with our inner child. So I thought, right, that's it. I will get into the play theme right now and be able to do my live in a more fun way. So I hope you can actually see my little butterfly wings there, and of course, you know, lots of color and fluff and all the rest of it. Feather, I should say, rather than fluff. Maybe that too. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk to you about, it's floating around the place. What we mean by inner child, if you're not familiar with that term, and then what I mean by play dates, and how that relates to biz and life, or life and biz success and productivity. So first of all, what is your inner child? Oops, I'm losing my feathers there. So our inner child, the thought is that we have, from our own childhoods, the way we were as young children, particularly under 7 years of age, but probably can be a little bit older than that we actually retain the essence of, in my case, who I call little Helen, in me, and I like to think that she's in my heart. And I carry her with me for the remainder of my life, and she's always been with me. So when I became an adult, and as I matured into becoming an adult, she actually perhaps transitioned from the physical form into my heart, and it may be that you feel her somewhere, or him somewhere else with you. But for me, as I said, I feel little Helen in my heart. So there she has been all my years from childhood right up to now. And the thinking is that our inner children still actually need to be nurtured and cared for, and have a longing to do things like playing, just as much as we did when we were them as young children. So that never goes away. The problem is, of course, as we get into adult years, too many of us actually become too adult. And we can be very serious. We don't take enough time out. We're working too hard, whether it's in our businesses, or even if, you know, there's lots of people, of course, that work really hard in paid jobs as well. But if we focus on us in our businesses, we can be working so many hours and it can be really stressful. And as well as that, we can actually feel really stagnant. And as you know, I'm really, really, really so big about creativity and the playfulness that comes with that. When we play, it stimulates our creativity. It definitely gets the endorphins happening, the dopamine, and we feel, when we've played, lighter, more energetic, more youthful, dare I say, and that has so many physical benefits, emotional benefits, and I definitely believe physical benefits, I'm sure as well, depending on, you know, what the games are. Or how we're playing, and definitely spiritually. I definitely think that there's a connection between, or with, our inner child and our spirituality as we mature into adult years. So the inner child definitely needs his or her needs met. And as I said, when we're working too much, what often happens, unfortunately, is that our inner child is neglected. And just as if, I mean, it is a real child, but just as if when we were children, if we didn't have enough attention from our parents and other loved ones, we felt neglected as well. And as a result, we felt, we could have felt really sad, lonely, all those sort of negative emotions. And also we could even have been playing up, misbehaving because our needs weren't being met. And that's what can happen now in our adult years if we don't give time to our inner child. We can actually also feel lonely and sad, but perhaps not realize that it might actually be our inner child that's enabling us to, or is responsible for us feeling that. And also the playing up. Now, it can come in lots of forms in our adult years. And I'm not saying that all our stresses, if we behave in ways that we probably aren't so proud of, I'm not saying it's all, and it's not to blame our inner child. Our inner child has every right to have his or her needs met. But it can result, there's quite a lot of thinking that if our inner child's needs aren't met, it can actually be, in terms of playing up, inverted commas, can come in the form of sabotage. And we can actually restrict our growth, our evolution as humans if we're not paying attention to our inner child. And, that can have really big consequences for us. It can be the result of a lot of our unhappiness in our lives, in our businesses. And so the remedy for that then is to get in touch with our inner child and actually play with him or her. Allow him or her to have expression, which is so, so important. Because it's like all of us, when we're heard, when we're respected, when we're heard, when we're given a voice, even if we're talking about things that we, can give us pain, it helps usually to have that expression, to express it and to release those emotions. And that's why I'm a really big believer in play dates or inner child dates or inner child play dates, so that you can allow your inner child to release a lot of this pent-up energy that he or she may have. And it might be simply that desire to play, which of course is so natural for children. It can also be these pent-up feelings of loneliness, maybe anger, sadness. And I honestly believe that there is a link between allowing our inner child to be fully expressed and lessening any chances of sabotaging in terms of the behaviours that we can adopt if we don't listen to our inner child, and the results that happen in our lives because of that. Okay, so what are inner child dates or inner child play dates? So what I suggest, and I know that others suggest this as well, is actually making a date with our inner child. Simple as that. So what I mean is scheduling, prioritizing it in your calendar, a time each week ideally, to put aside to protect the time so that you can actually have a date with your inner child. And really prioritize that as if it's a date or an appointment with somebody else. And in essence, it's with ourselves and our inner child, and both your inner child and yourself are obviously so incredibly important. So you want to really be able to protect that time. It doesn't have to be long. It might only be 10 minutes to begin with. And if you want, over time, you can make that a bit longer. It'd be great if you could. The longer, the better. So what do I suggest that you do? What I would recommend is actually thinking before you actually go on the date. What are a whole list of things that you used to love doing as a kid yourself? It could be things like, I've got my wand here for blowing bubbles. I used to love doing this, and in fact, I still do, and my inner child does. Unfortunately, I've run out of the bubble mixture. It's leaked, which is really yucky. But you know what I mean. You could be playing games. What were the games you love to play? Whether they be formal games like I'm trying to think, Monopoly or Cluedo or something like that. Monopoly for a smaller child probably to be more other games that you can be playing with other people, but you can actually hopefully play. It's not so much the playing in a formal sense. It's not that you can't play it because you don't have somebody else to play it with. And in fact, it's actually better if you do this by yourself, because this is your special time with yourself and your inner child. But you could still, if you love playing, I'm trying to think of the name of the one where you'd press it in the bubble and there was the dice and, I don't know. If somebody remembers it, please let me know. But there's all sorts of, there can be little child, I remember when I was a kid, all these little collector cards and stuff like that. You can be playing hopscotch, you can be doing things outside. You could be going to the beach and making a sandcastle. And I know that might seem a little bit of a stretch if you're doing it by yourself, but hey, why not? Why not? Why should kids have all the fun all the time? You could be making a cubby house if it's cold weather inside with blankets and chairs and pillows and all that sort of stuff. If you've got younger kids yourselves now, then you've probably got ideas just simply remembering what it is that they do in terms of playing. You could be drawing, painting, making mud pies in the dirt. Obviously, it's only limited by your imagination. So I really encourage you to take some time to begin with and actually do some deep breathing, sitting quietly, closing your eyes, and just taking yourself back through your memories of what the really fun things were that you did as a kid. Then as those ideas come back to you, have a bit of paper and pen next to you and write what those are. Write what came to you down on the paper, so that when it comes time for your inner child play date, time of the week, you can choose whatever it is that you want to be doing with your inner child. And it'd be great if you were to ask your inner child. And again, you can do that by sitting quietly, again, eyes closed, breathing, in a way meditating and being mindful, and just, again, taking yourself back to your childhood and asking your little, in my case, Helen, and whatever your name is, or whatever way you want to refer to your inner child, and say, what would you like to do today? And you've got a list of maybe some suggestions. And who knows, things can crop up, and that's our intuition, that aren't even on the list, and that's perfectly fine. Do what feels right in the moment. Another thing that you can do to communicate with your inner child is to write or draw with your non-dominant hand, because that's where we're actually bypassing what is the conscious, critical thinking part of our brain, opening up into our much more of our creative side, intuitive, and I would say emotional and spiritual side of our brain, and that will then connect with our inner child much more closely and quickly. So you might ask again, your inner child, what would you like to do today? And see what comes up with your writing or with your drawing, and that's a way that you can communicate. So whichever way you like, identify some fun things to do. As I said, schedule it in your diary. Make it a really, really important appointment that you keep for your inner child and yourself. And don't do it with other people. I really, really suggest that this is your special time that you are sharing with your inner child, and doing it as often as you can, increasing the frequency and length of time you do it for. And I can guarantee you it will make you feel so much more in touch with your inner child and your creativity and your playfulness, and that will then start to move into the other areas of your life. And in terms of, I believe it's a key to success. I honestly do. And I do think that when we give our inner child the attention that he or she wants, that they deserve, then it will actually curb a whole lot of stress and other negative emotions we might be feeling in other areas of our lives. And we are then better able to tap into our creativity, our playfulness, our intuition, and they, research has shown, are definitely connected to our productivity. When we are energized, when we are innovative, which is a key to being productive, it allows us to then come up with new ways of problem solving, of viewing things in a whole different way. That then can mean we may be able to save time, might be an idea that we were procrastinating on, that a solution has come to us and then we're able to get through our procrastination, all sorts of ways that it can really help. So I will leave it there. I will invite you, gently challenge you, and I'm sure your inner child does as well, to make the time for this. I would love to hear how you go with it, and any comments, questions, please do, as usual, put them in the comments section. If you want some help with it, you're welcome to contact me, and we can talk more about it. If this is sounding absolutely weird, but you think you want to give it a go, but you're actually a bit scared, that's okay. It's okay. And as I said, you're welcome to contact me if you want any support with it. So I absolutely look forward to hearing about how you and your inner child have gone with your play dates. So here's to happy playing. See you later. Bye for now.